If anyone is present, then we can just make sure that they are presenting today. Gobinda Behra, is he present? Swayam Prakash Vedanta, Swayam Prakash Vedanta, Ashok Kumar Panda, Ashok Kumar Panda, Origin Garnayak, Origin Garnayak, present? You will be presenting? Please come. Okay. Om Prakash Sahu, Om Prakash Sahu, is he present? Soham Adhikari, Soham Adhikari, Soham Adhikari, okay. Then we have Nisit Mondal, Nisit Mondal, Nisit Mondal, then Saddam Hussain Mondal. Okay. So this session would include discussion on diverse areas ranging from tourism and sustainable development, role of technology in ensuring sustainability, energy efficiency, role of climate change on income gap, etc. So before we move on to start this session, I would like to introduce our chair for the day and the other invited speakers. To begin with, Professor R. Lalita S. Fernando is a prominent academician in the Department of Public Administration at the University of Sri Jayawardenepura, Sri Lanka. With expertise in governance, public policy and administration, she has contributed significantly to research on the role of public institutions in sustainable development. Her insights into the challenges and opportunities in public governance will provide valuable perspectives at the RPPGTCC 2025 conference, especially in the context of climate change and its impact on public administration. We welcome you, Madam R. Lalita S. Fernando. Then we have three invited speakers for the day. Professor R.N. Bhattacharya. He is a prominent academician at Burdwan University, specializing in sustainable development and tourism studies. His research focuses on the interplay between tourism and sustainable development, particularly in the hill areas of West Bengal. His study on Ramailo Kalebang in Kalimpong district highlights the challenges and opportunities for sustainable tourism in ecologically sensitive regions. Professor Bhattacharya's expertise in sustainable tourism development and environmental conservation will provide crucial insights at the RPPGTCC 2025 conference, particularly in the context of governance and climate change mitigation strategies. Our next speaker for the day is Professor Maniklal Adhikari, who is a distinguished academician at Burdwan University, West Bengal, specializing in public administration, governance, and policy analysis. His research interests encompass public policy formulation, governance challenges, and sustainable development, with a particular focus on regional governance and climate change. Professor Adhikari's deep understanding of governance structures will provide valuable contributions to the conference 2025, particularly in exploring the role of public administration in addressing climate change impacts. Our last speaker of the day, Mr. Sindhu Kumar Dalai, is an expert in energy efficiency and environmental sustainability at NMDC Steel Limited, Nagarnagar, Chhattisgarh. His work focuses on reviewing energy efficiency practices in steel plants across India and guiding them toward achieving environmental sustainability. With extensive experience in industrial energy management, he plays a key role in implementing sustainable practices in the steel sector. Mr. Dalai's insights on energy efficiency and sustainability in the industrial sector will contribute valuable perspectives on sustainable industrial practices and climate change at the RPPGTCC 2025 conference. We welcome you all, and now I would request the chair for the session, Professor R. Lalita, to take over. Okay. So before we start, we would like to give the agenda. तो दिया है इन्हीं ना मते तो ने देखिए आसे बना
Yes, good afternoon to all. Thank you very much for inviting me for the distinguished topic, Revisiting Public Policy and Governance in terms of climate change. Thank you very much, Professor Amita and the Vice Chancellor, Professor Geetanjali Das, Berhampur University, and all the distinguished guests. Today's this technical sessions, our topic is climate change and development, diverse perspectives. Especially, it is now climate change is a buzzword. How it's very important, timely important topic. We know that there is because they are almost all the speakers talking about sustainability, role of technology to ensure sustainability and the sustainable development, tourism in the hill area of West Bengal, and also the energy efficiency and reverse steel plants in India and their journey towards environmental sustainability. Therefore, there is a strong link between sustainability development and the climate change. We know the climate change significantly underestimates the sustainable developments, by impacting critical aspects like food security, water availability, and health and economic stability. Especially we know nowadays with the rise in greenhouse gas emissions, and the climate change is occurring at especially high rate much faster than anticipated. Therefore, its impact can be devastating the especially weather pattern and rising sea levels. Therefore, it is the most significant challenge for achieving the sustainable development. It threats to drag millions of our poor people into the more poorest. Therefore, we need some kind of policy interventions, especially the poor developing countries, particularly the best developed countries and also the least developed countries. They will face a lot of challenges or the impact to the adverse effect to this climate change, and the least able to cope with the anticipated shocks to their social, economics and natural system. However, not only the developing countries, you can see the USA also recently, it's a huge climate change because of the global warming. Therefore, it is not limited to the developing countries. We are vulnerable to all of as a nation in the world. We are living in the globalized world. Therefore, rise in temperature and extreme weather events and sea level rise can directly impact in our countries, and also increase in vulnerability to the poorly and other kind of lot of the impacts. You can see that is not only one single policy, climate change. As earlier in the morning we learned that there are various kind of policies are needed. Therefore, strategies to combat climate change can be regarded as a holistic aspect. There are so many aspects. One policy may not be adequate. Therefore, mitigating strategies, adaptation strategies, as well as international collaborations are very important to face this kind of situation. So I am not talking about too much about the intervention about the climate change. There are so many discussions we can listen. So I will invite, there are three main keynote, some invited talks, Professor Ravindra Bhattacharya and Professor Maniklal and Mr. Subheshnu Kumar Dalal. So I cordially invite Professor Bhattacharya to, you have 13 minutes. Thank you very much. Yes.
13 plus 2.
Yes, 13 plus 2. 13 minutes, 2 minutes for the discussion.
Let there be no discussion because I will have to complete within 13 minutes. Let me get 2 minutes more. Very good afternoon to you all. I'll finish it within this time. My paper is on sustainable development and tourism in the hill areas of West Bengal, a study of Ramailo Kalibung in Kalimpong district. Ramailo Kalibung means beautiful Kalimpong. So this is in Nepali language. This has been a project going on in Kalimpong from 2023. Let me just start with what Professor Amita Singh in her keynote address told, that the problem is within us and we are going out for the solution. We are going for solution to the outside. So we are degrading huge quantity of forests and then creating gardens under Green Mission project. So I was, for quite some time, I was also thinking like that mass tourism, I love tour, and I go in many places in India and abroad. So wherever I go, I saw that basically government, for the purpose of development, develops mass tourism. And mass tourism always basically hampers or destroys the environment to a great extent. In 2015, in Napsipa, I went to JNU for a conference, and there I spoke on can law ensure disaster reduction, a case study of Mandarmani. That was published in one Napsipa publication edited by Professor Amita Singh in Springer, which is also, I saw that Scopus indexed. So that has been, there I saw that people know about laws, but they always violate laws. You know, CRZ, I mean, within high tide zones, 500 meters within high tide zones, it is told in the rules and laws that you cannot make any building. But you go to Puri, you go to Mandarmani, you go to Digha, even within low tide zone, within high tide zone, but even within low tide zone, 500 meters also is not being followed. So within 100 meters or in 50 meters, in Mandarmani, people, when tide comes, people remain in room in the water, and that they enjoy. But if the disaster comes, nobody knows. So from there, I thought that how that was the violation of law, and in many places, I'm not going to elaborate the examples, but I saw that I wanted to see what else can be solved if we want to get tourism for tour lover people like me, but at the same time, it may be a sustainable development. So I was thinking, and I saw suddenly that Ramailo Kalibung project. In fact, I saw this in Sikkim, but this is my state. Kalimpong is in my state, that's why I highlighted this. And my scholar Ranju Chetri is a Gorkha lady, so I can get, she's from Kalimpong, I can get the interviews, field surveys from there, so that's why I took Kalimpong. But it has been taken by Sikkim that Abha madam told the previous session. So in Sikkim, it has already been taken. Now, if we take, then you can see that mass tourism poses a threat to the environment. Hotels, especially large chains, I have told you, hotels that basically those are developed in very beautiful sites, but that always destroys the environment. But in lieu of that, if we can develop micro-tourism, you have heard of micro-irrigation, micro-agriculture, micro-dams and all these things, but I am talking about micro-tourism. If you can develop that, in that case, we can have both. We can have tourism, we can have development, and we can have the livelihood. Poverty, long back in 1972, Indiraji told that poverty is the basic thing which destroys the environment. So, in that case, we can also save the environment. Now, how we can, I can tell you in Mandarmani what happened in governance, regarding governance. In 2011, Mamata Banerjee became Chief Minister. In 2012, she came to Mandarmani and told that no building will be developed in this place anymore. But in 2014, Telegraph reported 19 hotels, big hotels, came in the seashore, and after Mamata ji went away from declaring that this is there should be no development. And you know, it's in a Supreme Court, High Court has given the order that all the 140 hotels have to be demolished, and the owners have gone to the High Court again, that what will happen on all things, and High Court has stated the order. So it will go on. Now, as far as Kalimpong is concerned, it has already been mentioned that it's a very popular destination for the tourists. Hindustan Times reported on 9 September 2020 that every year more than 10 lakh tourists visit Sikkim and the North Bengal hills, that include Darjeeling and Kalimpong. And also, if you go by the data, you can see more than 1,032 or something, 268 most probably, hotels are there, and 1,032 registered homestays are there. Now, I have already told that this paper wants to explore the basic research question: does Ramayalo Kalimpong project leads to a sustainable development tourism in Kalimpong? What are the basic limitations of this project? How could this project be made more ambitious in facilitating sustainable tourism? In a word, this paper wants to explore how does the Ramayalo Kalimpong project make a provision for sustainable tourism, and what is to be sustained for the benefits of the future generation. And here I just go for theoretical framework that Adrian Leftwich in 2006 observed that since the late 80s, a new orthodoxy has dominated much of the theory and practice of development governance. Leftwich views this new orthodoxy has meant more commitment to free market in economic terms, a strong preference for representative liberal democratic politics in political terms, and a limited non-interventionist but efficient state deploying a competent and non-corrupt bureaucracy in administrative terms. In fact, this reveals the victory of market forces over the totalitarian state, which focused on wholly abolishing, let me get my files, totalitarianism, which focused on wholly abolishing civil society as an independent sphere and subordinating it to state purposes instead. Then Fukuyama, it was Fukuyama who told, but almost during that time, we have seen that the World Development Report 1997 analyzing the ground situation both at the OECD countries as well as the developing countries reported with government expenditure data that the state has grown everywhere. And in West Bengal, you can see the state really has grown everywhere. But the thing is that the state is incapable. This incapability of state and growing up of state, that leads to certain corrupt development of syndicate culture, hotel syndicates and all these things. So that has developed in West Bengal. Now, what does Ramayalo, I'm coming to the basic thing, what does Ramayalo Kalimpong says? Ramayalo Kalimpong project focuses on the development. The research method is that Ranju Chetri went to the homestay owners, tourism development officer, focused interview of tourism development officer, and GTA secretary. Now, it focuses on the development of tourism through the development of homestays. Very good. For that, state government provides 1,50,000 in 3 installments. 3 installments because otherwise they will marginalize people, they will just eat it. So that they do not eat it, so after 1 installment, they will check, next installment will be given, and these are for creating attached bathrooms, maintenance of bedrooms, these type of things. And this type, but the homestay owners, they told that only few people have got 3 installments. Mostly they have got 1 or first or second installment. And every month or twice after bi-monthly, there is a block level meeting where the SHGs, it's a linking up projects, SHGs and the tourism officers, they meet and awareness campaign goes on. So that way, they also facilitate that SHG products should be kept in the homestays, and that way it can be sold, and that way, both way they can treat. And you know, Sabala Mela is a Sabala fair, women empowerment fair goes on in every district in West Bengal. So a few days back in Kalimpong also it was held. So that way, that time the homestay tourists, they will go there and buy the product. Now what I want to tell, now from this I want to tell, the major thing is that this is not mass tourism. It's very good. This is very good, but at the same time, this is not community tourism. Community tourism is like tourism, cooperative tourism, that all the people will have the cooperative and they will distribute the profit. This is, in a sense, this is microtourism. But what the thing is, the policy makers, in fact, lack, what is the lacuna of this project, is that one is that they do not provide the infrastructure. If you tell that land will be given to you, what left front government did during the 1980s, that land will be yours, but you will not be paid for fertilizer, for farming. So in that case, they will just sell the land and they will go to factory. So that way, the thing is that infrastructure will have to be created. The homestay owners are telling that whenever there is a crisis of water, and water crisis is huge in hill area, in Kalimpong, and government always tells that go to the PHE, Public Health Engineering officers, and they will deal. And also the organic farming, which could be very good for this. This organic farming is not encouraged. So organic farming is not encouraged, and plastic, which destroys the thing, which is completely banned in Sikkim, that is not done in West Bengal. So there are many things, I'm not going to the details, which are their lacuna, but what I want to end up, that at the micro level, if you develop this policy, there is no need of taking large tourism policy. There is contextual, small level, micro level policy can be taken by the district authorities in a decentralized planning, bottom-up planning. That is not being done. And that can save the tourism, that can save the livelihood, that can save the environment as well. So we hope that in future, government will do such type of micro development of tourism, organically connected with organic farming and strong governance, that if any person breaks the law, he will be just blacklisted and will not be listed in the pamphlets of government registered homestays. So that is all with my paper. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your presentation. I think you already took the time given, and then just after one by one, we can have 2 minutes for your discussion. Based on this discussion, if there are any issues you can ask, but we are giving only 2 minutes
What kind of
Organic farming can be done in many ways. You know, squash is the thing. In Calcutta market is sold in certain cases 150 rupees per kg, and we have seen in Sikkim, we have seen squash is just you can see every home. There are at least 150 squashes are just in the plant. So that is, squash is one thing like this. Then there are cabbages, they are developing cabbages. All the winter foods and winter plants are being developed there. And on the basis of that, they are making the homestay food. And its quality is so good. So good you can, I'm not a promoter of Sikkim tourism. I'm going to stay in homestay. And I saw that it's so nice. We became accustomed with their culture, with their heritage, how they respect the forest, how their animals took us leading to the 3 hours to the sunrise point. Nobody is there, but the dog is watching me and going with me. So all these things are there with the environment. So this can be developed. With a small goodwill, this can always be developed.
Okay, I think, yes, only final question, yes, because we are running out of the time. Yes. Yes.
The policy comes. In Odisha, there is a concrete policy like Organic Policy 2018. So accordingly, on the basis of that policy, Government of Odisha has done a lot of things so far as the organic farmings are concerned. Whether in West Bengal, do we have any concrete organic policy?
I think I have noticed, I have not done any study on this,
Right.
but I think that there is no such organic farming policy.
Because my intention is, sir, we are doing a lot of things in a convocation or in a workshop like that. But all our things, suggestion should be forwarded to the policy makers, those who are doing really policy. Otherwise, it will be meaningless. If you only discuss your policies, and it will not touch to the hearts of the government, then that will be meaningless.
No, we publish papers,
Not through media.
Yes.
Officially, we have, sometimes medias are publishing so many things that may be right, that may be wrong, like that. So we must have some official communication to the government, and you see in the government we have to pursue that these things, these suggestions have come up in a workshop or in a very valued convention or like that. So that should be implemented. We can request officially through our.
Thank you. Just one 30 seconds. I am with ABP Anando, political observer, and I haven't seen in any way they become interested in good, positive development projects like organic farming. They're always interested in corruption, which minister is doing all. So I hope that it's a very good, ambitious thing, but media will never be interested in all this.
We have to do like this, otherwise.
One question, madam. Just one. Actually, as rightly you have approached tourism, which is also focus area of Odisha also. But when we are talking about from converting from mass tourism to micro tourism and community center tourism, okay. So when government attracts tourists to a certain place, so it makes some infrastructure there, and which is hampering to the environment. Okay. So if you are talking about micro tourism or so community tourism, in what way it can be developed? Means what would be is there any some kind of examples set that the crowd will be managed in a chain of development? The crowd will be automatically managed. It will not concentrate to one particular spot. Rather than they will be diverse in different. Is there any such examples?
I understand your concern. You are talking about that there should be an integrated policy of microtourism. That's very good. I must tell that this is not the thing in West Bengal. I don't know whether Odisha has got, but Puri, I have seen that low tide zone, it's within 200 meters of low tide zone, 14 buildings, 14 floor buildings have been developed. So, and in Gopalpur also I've seen. So these type of things are going on in every state, but this can be developed.
Yes.
If there is a political will, this can be an integrated way, connected way, it can be developed.
Okay, Professor, I think this session have to be finished. Anyway, Professor highlighted, we don't want to do the large-scale infrastructure, the micro level, the tourism, home-based tourism. The Sri Lanka also, we are encouraging, maybe the government encouraging, the tourists are not going for the 5-star hotel, maybe the small villages, but the government gives some kind of infrastructure facility to develop their rooms and the accommodations and giving training how to treat the tourist. Likewise, then the poverty also can be reduced, livelihood development can be done, and that is the way of doing the micro and the organic fertilizer also. We have to be very careful. Our one of presidents, Gotabaya Rajapaksa, one night he announced organic fertilizer, but it is a huge disaster. It should be done gradually. The chemical fertilizer and the organic fertilizer should be developed in a very careful manner. Otherwise, we had a lot of big problems. Therefore, organic fertilizer is very good because it is also environment sustainable. But we need a very good policies, initiations, the leaderships. Likewise, holistic policy. That is a very good concept. So we have the very good, very limited time period. So I encourage. To finish our session, and the next sessions I invited Professor Maniklal Adhikari, role of technology to ensure sustainability, myth or reality. Thank you.
Very good afternoon, respected chairpersons, respected delegates on the dais and off the dais, my dear students here and scholars. My paper is purely a theoretical journey in economics. Purely theoretical journey in economics. I would like to connect the technology in ensuring the sustainability of growth and development. Is it reality? In reality, does it happen? Or simply it is myth or dream? Okay. Therefore, let me peep into the history. First of all, go back to 1972. The Club of Rome published one report. And that report was prepared on the basis of some simulation experiment on numerical data on world population growth and use of resources, intergenerational equity, and environmental degradation. What he told? World population is continuously increasing and resources are getting depleted. Naturally, growth cannot be sustained. There cannot be no sustainable development or sustainable growth. And this report is popularly known as Doomsday Report. That is, the world will be doomed. That is. And this concern was aggravated by another report of OPEC crisis in 1973. In 1987, World Commission on Environment and Development, they really admitted the environment we live has been polluted. And the development we do to improve our lot in that abode is either ridiculous or deficient. Development and environment must grow hand to hand, synchronously. WCED also tried to find out the interconnection between social equality, intergenerational justice, equity, and environmental degradation and economic growth, and formulated a long-term policy that can save the world according to them, and that is known as the sustainable development policy. This being the simple introduction of my lecture, since my topic is in economics, naturally let me decipher these statements. What sustainable development requires? It calls for intergenerational equity concerning the limited resources. It doesn't mean that all the resources should be kept in its initial state, but it requires the ideal way of substitution between different resources. But we know that natural capital, environmental stocks, they have no substitutability or limited substitutability for other types of capital. But policymakers from economics, they say that it will not create any problem because the main source of capital our generation, successive generations inherited from their predecessors, and that have invariably made them happier are physical capital and intellectual capital, not natural capital. The empirical evidences show that an average citizen towards the end of the 20th century was far richer than an average citizen of the 19th century. Why this happened? This happened simply because, not because that our environment was clean and we had a lot or more natural resources, but because we then had new techniques, we had then equipments, we knew how to produce and how to perform service that were unthinkable 100 years ago. That's why you find that life expectancy has been longer, infant mortality has been reduced, there is better opportunity of work facility for the women, work hour leisure ratio that has been reduced, that is, leisure has been increased. Travel is easy, communication is cheaper. During my student life, I can remember one telephone call from Burdwan to Kolkata took almost 24 hours. Trunk booking, and it took 35 minutes, 35 rupees. Now just no need such things. Why? Due to technology. Due to technology. However, come back to again sustainability. Therefore, although it is true that there is limited or degree of substitutability between different types of capital is often low, still what we need to not to keep our resources just in its own form, but to find out some technology so that sustainability can be ensured. And what is that? That is eco-technology. In the morning, what if someone was telling?
Yeah, there are some. Yes, please continue.
Time is over?
Yes, we have time. Yes, we have time.
4 R's. That 4 R's I can refer to. Okay. Now, in the framework of the endogenous growth theory, just you move, right? So, go. I am telling. Just move. Okay. One back. Okay. No, don't look at these symbols, mathematics. Don't look at it. I am telling you the story only. Actually, in the framework of the endogenous growth model, because exponents of the endogenous growth model believe that sustainability can be brought back or brought about simply by the environmental friendly technology. Environmental friendly technology through the use of eco-technology. Therefore, what they say, that at the end of the day, that we are happy, we are in peaceful life. It comes from what? What we consume. What type of satisfaction we derive. What we have. Okay. That's why, what we do, we consider one utility function or satisfaction function. It depends on what? What you consume. Okay? then what is the quality of our environments? Okay? That is, our utility depends on our consumption and the environmental quality. But this environmental quality is expected to decline. Why? Over time, due to use of technology. Is it done? Am I over? Right?
Yes.
Okay. However, just 2 minutes.
It's okay, please.
Okay, you proceed. You proceed, you go.
Yes.
You go further. Further. One more. Okay. Look here. Now, in this optimum, dynamic optimal control theory, using that theory, you can find out that if the lifetime discounted value of the utility is maximized, subject to some constraint that environmental quality is declining, okay, then you can get such a function. What you find? This rho is time preference parameter. That time preference parameter means it is also called selfishness parameter. If you are more selfish, you will concentrate on present generation. If you are not, this value is very low. And it is attached to negative sign. And eta is called intergenerational substitution, elasticity of substitution. Okay. Now as t, that is time, tends to infinity, this value will tend to 0. Then your consumption will be declining. You will get no sustainability. Now you proceed once more. Okay. Another technology where intellectual capital has been utilized. I was speaking of technology. Just 2 minutes more, 2-3 minutes.
Okay.
You find that in this situation, some symbols I have used. I am telling you the story. Research and innovation and knowledge creation. In the morning, someone was telling. Okay. Now, from this research, knowledge will be created and innovations will be developed, and so that the technology frontier can be pushed up. Okay. Now, all research are not successful. If not, then innovation will not come. Naturally, what will happen? We can define one frequency of innovation. That is, number of people involved in research activities and rate of success. Multiplied together will give you the research innovation. That is frequency of innovation. The leading edge technology or intellectual technology that actually grows as proportion to this frequency of innovation. And if we use this, then we get another result. Just you go. Find that. Okay. Okay, just come back. Now this thing, in that case, we find such a time path. What time path tells us? It is continuously going up. What does it mean? As time proceeds on, your consumption profile is increasing. Just one explanation. The first part, alpha 1 parameter y by k into 1 gamma by 1 by gamma, this is known as social marginal product. Okay. That is total marginal product of capital when we consider the pollution cost. This is expected to be higher than the time difference parameter, that is selfishness parameter. This value is positive. That's why what we find, it is continuously moving upward. Sustainability is possible through the creation of knowledge only, through intellectual capital. Fine, that's it.
It's okay, your time.
Thank you.
Yes, I think it's very technical subject.
But I avoid all this.
Yes. And also there may have some questions regarding how technology help to enhance the environment, without damaging the environment, how to sustain the environment, and we can keep the environment for the future generations. The technology will be helped, and the professor talking about how technology and the production process have to be utilized by using the intellectual capital and so on. So if there are any questions, you can ask. With more clarification from the professor.
What is this?
Yes, you can.
So, a very nice topic, but I couldn't understand what is eco-friendly technology and how far it is helpful in the to minimize waste or to bring changes for a longer period of time, or there will be a gradual change, there will be development, but without hampering climate. So I couldn't understand what is this eco-friendly technology.
In the morning, we have perhaps listened to Madam was telling reuse, recycle, revive, this type of four thoughts. Eco-technology means that technology which will effectively recycle, which can be reused, and which can be revived, so that your cost of production will be declined. And if your cost of production is declined, you can show if your GDP is increased, in that is cost, your from income cost is declining, that is income is raised, and you will invest more and more on research. Research and innovation. If research and innovation will come up, then develop environmental friendly technology. Environmental technology means cost of pollution is reduced. That is through time. Otherwise, I would have shown how this is reducing the cost. Okay? That should be explained. Logic is this. Techniques for creation of knowledge is less costly than the technique for producing the physically packaged stuff. Okay? You are developing your idea through research. That will not create pollution. Provided your mind and brain doesn't harm anyone. Okay? That is the logic.
So when you talk of a sustainable environment, you have to include the human species. Because the human species, children are committing suicide all over the world because the corruption of the technology, because it is not monitored, because it is just it is a lawless highway, you know. So
Actually, simply production technology I am concerned for here, but that type of production and this thing, lawlessness, that is the issue of the government. Definitely, these are the that is not dealt with here. That is not dealt with here, madam. Yes.
Yes, I think. Is there any more questions? Can we time for 1 or 2 minutes? Anyway, Professor is emphasizing technology can be reduce the cost of damage to the environment, especially I don't know too much mathematics Professor is talking about. But you know, the education sector, we are using a lot of technology, and we can reduce our universities sometimes asking, one of universities who are based on the highly technological based universities. Normally, we are expecting traditionally there 5 copies of the PhD dissertation to submit finally, but they are not getting any hard copies. Just we can save the forest. How many the cost is within 200, 300 papers, 5 copies likewise, all are the soft copies likewise. In education sector, likewise we can reduce, and the universities during the COVID periods, lot of expenses are running the universities, but the soon technology reduce lots, but there are some negative effects also. There should be, as you mentioned, the monetary system should be, but there are a lot of advantages to reduce the damage to the environment by using the technology. There may be future innovative technological mechanism, maybe in the future, that is up to our university community to conduct research. The cost of the production has to be reduced with the use of the technology. Yes. I think that may be finished. We want to finish the session. Now I am inviting Mr. Kumar Dal. He is talking. Yes. Subendu Kumar Dal, yes, he is NMDC Steel Limited, yes, Energy Efficiency Review of Steel Plants in India and their journey towards environmental sustainability, right? Please.
Good afternoon, and the respected guest on the dais and of the dais. I'm from the industry background, and with permission from Professor Lalita ma'am, whether I can throw some energy into this audience. That is my pure request, because everyone is losing some energy, or post-lunch period, it's always we are lacking energy. And one request, can someone reduce the temperature? No, not to the coordinators. What Globe is telling towards the society. Because our target in all the policy makers, that reducing the temperature by 3 degree or 2.5 degree by this decade end. But still we are lacking. Sorry, ma'am. So, my presentation starts with from the globe and its the energy what we can reduce in the steel plants, and that is the last point, and what green things we are doing in the steel plant in India right now. That is the main thing what we are facing throughout the world, and because we need to make entire thing green, not the color green, because the total steel is backed by 70% coal. Entire steel cannot be produced without coal. 70% energy is coal. Coal is not green because C is there, carbon is there. Only one thing we can do, that just avoid carbon. That is the only thing. Use hydrogen, because carbon is a reducing agent for Fe2O3 or FeO. जो भी है बोल दो. In that place we will use hydrogen. That is the need of this hour. And that will be the last thing that will tell. And regarding this, someone told that policy is not making differences. But I am not agreeing. This some of the schemes that is being adopted by Government of India, we have achieved lot of results. My presentation will show this what results we have achieved. So this is the world energy scenario, and last published book by World Energy Outlook 2024, and it is published by IEA, International Energy Agency. What the first thing they are telling that in advanced economy, overall energy demand is reducing by 0.5% every year, and in emerging markets like China, India, our energy demands is increasing 2.5% every year. That is, and they are contributing 85% of the world population. Because growth is essential in the emerging markets, and population is also increasing in the emerging markets. So these two things, that when we will reach to the growing world, then our energy will reduce. In this scenario, he has shown that after 2030, there will be energy will be in a reducing trend. CO2 emission will be a reducing trend. What they have shown. See what this graph is showing. In 2020, that is Corona period, everything is in the reducing trend. But this clean energy will go up after 2023. And that is also happening. Other parts, that oil and natural gas, coal, what contains C? Carbon, which is responsible for GHG emission, CO2. That is in the reducing trend. What happening into the CO2 emission? CO2 emission is peaking in 2030. After that, it is in the reducing trend. Same thing in China. Same thing is happening. That is, it will reduce by 3% every year. So, lot of things are happening in the world, because Madam is squeezing timing for us, like world leaders are squeezing the funds for the environment. Sorry, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Because I am from the industry, what is happening to the industry part? Total energy right now we are consuming in the world, that is 445 exajoule, that is 10 to the power 18 by 2023. And contribution of industry sector is 170 exajoule. It's not a small amount. direct energy use, direct energy, the emission of CO2 due to energy. Because there are other types of emission of CO2 is there. 50% is from energy only. Others are that is in other form, the natural phenomena. That 55% of total energy energy related CO2 emission. That is the thing. What is the global energy scenario versus India? And what they are showing that in 2023, India, it is consuming 31 exajoule, and by 2050, it will consume 54 exajoule. So, we will be part of 8% in the world, total energy consumption of the world in 2023, and it will be 10% by 2050. It is not much, because others are reducing. Same thing, renewable energy, that's the key, because that is the requirement for us, steel players, because this renewable energy is used for production of green hydrogen. And what will happen, this green hydrogen, it will replace the coal and coke in all the industry. What happens in global renewable energy scenario? India is producing right now 405 terawatt hour, and it will be 10 times in 2050, and it's happening. You can see in 2010 we are only 161, now we are 105. It is possible. So there is a huge policy change from the government. And solar power, the cost previously it was more than 10 rupees. Right now it is only 1.7 rupees, you can say, which is also the backbone for green hydrogen production. Okay, that's it. Next, coming to the iron steel industry. In 2023, we are consuming 37 exajoule out of 445 exajoule that is consumed throughout the world. You can say that is approximately 8% of the world. And similarly, in the 2050, that is 6.7% of the total energy consumption that is expected in 533. What entire world will use. So it's a huge. Indian steel. This is from Ministry of Steel. India is the home to 5th largest iron ore producer in the world. That is the backbone of our country. Similarly, it is the 2nd largest producer in the world in terms of production of steel. Then other parts leaving, and we are having a tremendous target that is 300 million ton by 2030 from 144 right now. It is our steel total, our per capita steel consumption is only 160 kg. In China it is 646 right now. Our 6 times more. Similarly, the world average is only 219. We are behind the world average, 160. And it is expected to rise by 160 by 2030. Next, coming to the energy in the steel, that is not much more important. What we are right now is 6 to 6 gigacalorie per ton of crude steel, what we produce right now. And in Western world, it is 4.5 to 5 gigacalorie per ton of crude steel. They are very energy efficient plants because the advanced technologies. That is best available technology, what we are known as BET. What sir was telling, that knowledge and other things, knowledge and other things. Okay. Similarly, CO2 consumption. CO2 emission in Indian steel plants, that is 2.36 to 2.5 right now, and in world it is 1.78 to 2.02. We are also still lacking. Our emissions are more. This is a basic process plant, process industry, that is the steel industry. What I have told, coal is serving 74% of the total energy use of a steel plant. These are the best available technology, BET, what I told. That is in vogue. Everyone is adopting right now. Slowly, because once you put a steel plant, that is for 30 years. Because it is a highly capital intensive industry. So before 30 years, you cannot change the technology, you cannot change the equipments because of capital in nature. Energy efficiency, already these are the things where we can reduce the energy consumption and everyone is adapting. There are two phases in the steel, that is iron making, then steel making. First is iron making. You get the iron with carbon, then remove the carbon, that is steel. And you put some alloys, that is the thing, steel. So iron making is the most energy intensive. 70% of energy will be utilized in iron making. That is use of cokes, that is imported cokes. This is the trend, specific energy consumption, where that slide represents how policy changes change the energy consumption in a steel plant or all other plants. In 2016, Shell was performing 6.6, right now they are 6.31. Tata Steel, 5.67, now they are operating at 5.3. That is almost at par with the industrial, international norms. So these are the things. We are in the reducing trend. And almost 7 to 8% reduction has been done in last 5 years only. So why we are adopting that thing? क्यों चाहिए? Why we need it? Yeah, we are reducing it because there is a policy change from the government that I am coming to. Similar to CO2 consumption, CO2 emission, Shell, they were in 2.57 to 2.5 right now. Similarly, Tata Steel India 2.3 to 2.43. It is in her side because they have installed a new steel plant in Kalinganagar afterwards. So JSW, they are in the reducing trend. Same energy related to CO2. If energy reduces, CO2 will reduce, definitely. You can see the Tata Steel Netherlands. That is a 7.6. Unbelievable. Next, energy efficiency in long time. Glasgow commitment we know. That is the thing, that is the backbone for reducing the energy. Then this is the scheme. Our today's things are revisiting public policy. This is the thing. PET scheme government introduced by Ministry of Power for all the industry. They are known as designated consumers. If they are giving some target that you will be at this in next year. If you will not be, you will be penalized. That penalty you have to brought from the best performing industries. So you perform and get money. You don't perform, pay the money. One of the steel plant, last year they paid more than 144 crore for not achieving the target by this PET scheme. This is the PET cycle. And what energy saving we have achieved, that is 2.1 ton of oil equivalent in PET cycle 1 and PET cycle 9, that is come right now, that is in vogue. Every 2 years, one PET cycle is there. Your target will be there. You reduce? Okay. That is NATO model. I have already told about the green hydrogen. Reduce, remove the C part from the reduction part, and that is the thing. Okay, ma'am. Next me. Thank you. Yes. Because I do have a lot of things to say. Sorry, ma'am.
Actually, new entrants, they are eagerly waiting.
Yes, I got. Because that is the important thing. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Anyone, please.
Yes, thank you very much. He is talking about how to reduce the demand for energy and the energy consumptions. It's very important. How it is a dilemma, that when we are going to development, there may be high demand for the energy. So how to tackle this problem. So you may have questions. Yes, please. So one question here.
One question. How your CDQ technique helps us controlling emission of greenhouse gases?
Yes, sir. That is the BAT technology I have told, the best available technology in the world right now. All the coke oven that is right now in the world need to have CDQ, coke dry quenching. Previously, the entire coke is being cooled by use of water, where lot of emission was there. Now, the entire coke is being cooled by nitrogen only. That is the CDQ technology. It avoids entire emission. And we are getting also energy from out of it in the form of power.
One another question. It is, can we take some alternative of coal, like charcoal, like bio charcoals, like dry leaf briquettes? Can it be used in the industries as a some percentage of for the fuel making? As you know, in Odisha is mostly forest dominated state, so around more than 30% coverage is forest, and lots of say dry leaves are there in the forest during summer, and unnecessarily there is fire in the forest, and there is a global warming for that also. So if some community can also collect those dry leaves and make briquettes, and just can it be used as an alternative to some extent as a coal, just like coal in your steel industries?
Yeah, you're right. That is known as biochar, you can say. Biochar, we are in Tata Steel, they have already tried by directly injecting to the two-air of the blast furnace, and they are using 10 ton per month every day on trial basis right now. Biochar, you're telling.
I would like to announce the name of the paper presenters once again. Whoever is present, the first one can come and present. Govinda Behra, is he present? Swayam Prakash Vedanta, Swayam Prakash Vedanta, Ashok Kumar Panda, Origin Garnayak, please come. Om Prakash Sahu, Om Prakash Sahu, Soham Adhikari, Nishit Mandal, Saddam Hussain Mandal, Dr. Sibaram Badatya. Yeah. Origin, you can come and make a presentation for 5 minutes.
Yes, 5 minutes and 2 minutes discussion.
5 minutes and 2 minutes discussion. Yeah. So please present accordingly. Come.
No time. Because no time, no. 5 minutes is very limited time. I don't know. Maybe very briefly they have to present.
1 minute, you can just, if they want for 1 minute, 6 minutes, so, a lot of people are there. Four persons, so 24 minutes
Yes.
and 2 minutes.
Who is going to present first?
All of you bring your PPT in your pen drive.
Okay.
Good afternoon, respected dignitaries and chairman. My name is Soham Adhikari. Today I've got a golden opportunity to present a paper that focuses on the relationship between air pollution and economic development. I have done this for 2 states, Delhi and West Bengal. So we know that India is the 6th largest economy in the World Bank ranking, but it has performed very poorly on the ground of Global Environmental Performance Index. Out of 180 countries, India's rank is only 141. We are mainly going to examine the relationship between air pollution and economic development. We have taken annual per capita GDP as the indicator of economic development. So we will look into the following issues: the impact of annual per capita GDP on air pollution, how the use of registered motor vehicles is affecting the air pollution, and the impact of population density on air pollution. These things have been dealt with for the states of West Bengal and Delhi. For the purpose of our study, we have kept the relationship between economic development and air pollution to be linear. We have also specified air pollution AP by a kth degree polynomial in this given slide. We have taken the linear and the quadratic trend line for air pollution, annual per capita GDP, registered motor vehicles, and population density, with using the intercept dummy, regional intercept dummy, and the interaction dummy. Here, the regional intercept dummy, I have taken the value of regional intercept dummy 1 for Delhi and 0 for West Bengal. I have taken the control variables to be population density and registered motor vehicles. So we have taken two sets of model, one sets of model with control variables and the other sets of models without using the control variable. This one is without the control variables. This one has been used with the control variables. Here we have calculated, we have used the air pollution index from the 4 components of air pollution. We have also used the Maximini formula for calculating the air pollution index. Here from the chart we see that the air pollution in Delhi is higher than that in West Bengal. Out of the 4 components, SPM, RSPM, NO2 and SO2, NO2 and SO2, the level of NO2 and SO2 in West Bengal is higher than that in Delhi, and the level of SPM and RSPM in Delhi is higher compared to that in West Bengal. Here we see that the registered motor vehicles population density and the annual per capita GDP in Delhi is higher than that in West Bengal for the year 1981 to 2017. Here we see that air pollution in Delhi was initially at a higher level, but as time proceeds, the rate of air pollution, the growth rate of air pollution in Delhi has been lower compared to that in West Bengal. So around 2014 or 16, we see that the level of air pollution in West Bengal is higher than that in Delhi. Here we see from the table that the growth rate of APC GDP for Delhi is higher than the APC GDP in West Bengal. Here also we see that the use of motor vehicles in Delhi has been higher compared to that in West Bengal during the year 1981 and to 2017. Here we have taken a linear model and a quadratic model for the relation between air pollution and economic development. Why in both the cases we see that the air pollution is higher in Delhi compared to that in West Bengal. So the conclusions and the following policy measures that we have taken here. So here is the chart which shows that initially how higher the air pollution in Delhi was and how gradually it was decreasing. We could have used the cubic model also, but it would be unsuitable for from the evidence of the empirical analysis. Therefore, we have stick to only linear model and quadratic model with the control variable and without the control variable. We have when we have used the control variables only. In case of population density only, we have seen that it supported the famous EKC hypothesis. And the EKC hypothesis mainly focuses on the relationship between air pollution and economic development. Here is the following conclusion and policy prescription that has been taken, which is the population density in Delhi is higher than that in West Bengal. The number of registered motor vehicles in Delhi is also higher than that in West Bengal. Any car not having any pollution certificate paper, there should be a ban on any car that is not using a pollution certificate paper. And CNG driven car and cars fueled by diesel or petrol should be replaced by CNG, which has been considered eco-friendly. Thank you. Yes.
And talking about the air pollution and economic development, I think you can ask one or two questions regarding this presentation later on. Okay, we will ask some questions later on. Thank you very much for your time. Next presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Dr. Saddam Hussain Mandal. Today, I am going to present a most important topic in the recent climate change. So that is crop residue burning or stubble burning in rural India in the context of West Bengal. So our title of the topic is crop residue burning in West Bengal, assessing the impacts on farm profitability and climate change. So that is the structure, first introduction, research work, etc. So recently the stubble burning is a common issue in rural India. Most of the farmers have burned their crop residue in an open field, and due to the crop residue burning, so many types of greenhouse gases like methane, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, nitrous oxide, nitrogen dioxide released to the environment, which resulted that environment changed their nature. So we very well known, if environment change their nature, so we will face how many types of difficulties in near future. So that is, I have taken some policies. So how to maintain the sustainability of the environment. This is our research gap. We have studied different literature. From the existing literature, we observe that only they are considered only the emissions of greenhouse gases. But no one consider on the basis of determinants of stubble burning why the farmer burned their crop residue in an open field. And also our past knowledge, we know we not see that what is the relationship between the climate change or stubble burning and farm profitability. So we have taken 4 most important objectives of our research. Firstly, we want to estimate how much amount of greenhouse gases generated by different farmer by 1 hectare crop residue burning. And also we attempt to assess whether the practice impact on farm profitability or not. And also we want to check the patterns of trends of different air pollutants in different seasons in rural Bengal. And lastly, we want to consider the determinants. Which socioeconomic factor is more responsible for the crop residue burning in the rural India? So we have collected some spot picture from the field. So that is from the picture we observe. So if the 1 hectare crop residue burn in an open field, so how much type of greenhouse gases released to the environment? So second picture represents the quality of soils. So that is the color of soils changes after the burning. Okay. So that is the study area. We have we have purposely selected 4 districts from the rural Bengal. So that is East Bardhaman district, Berhampur district, Nadia district and Hooghly district. From the district, we have collected 2 blocks from each of the districts and 2 villages each of the blocks. And we have collected total 480 samples by using the stratified random sampling. Firstly, we have divided the farmers into 3 categories, that is marginal farmer, small farmer and large farmer. Small farmers whose the agricultural land lies between 0 to 1 hectare. Marginal farmer who's 0 to 1 hectare, small farmer 1 to 2 hectare, and above 2 hectare are under included the large farmer. And there are the data structure. We have also collected few secondary data to validate the primary research. We have collected different types of air pollutants from the different stations from Nadia, Hooghly, or collected from Central Pollution Control Board of India. So this is the methodology. We have taken the most important method, so that is Gadde et al. Method. Gadde et al. Method use the 2 most important equations for first quantity of rice straw subject to open burning by QSSB means the total amount of quantity of burned amount, PRR means raw rice, and SGR means the straw grain ratio, how to convert the raw rice to crop residue, and QSB the percentage of crop residue burning by different categories of farmers like marginal, small and large farmer. Also we consider the amount of greenhouse gases by the equation EF means the emissions factor. So if you burn 1 kg of dry material, so how much amount of greenhouse gases released to the climate? So that is EFA emission factor. FCM means such a combustion factor from rice straw burning, and QSB that is the percentage of the burning of by the different categories of farmer. Mann-Kendall test, we have checked the different secondary database different pollutants increasing or decreasing trend over the different seasons, and sense estimator we have checked the magnitude of the slope, and lastly binary logistic regression method we have applied for checking the determinants of stubble burning. So that is the what is the relationship between socioeconomic factors and crop residue burning in West Bengal. So estimated amount of generated crop residue from our research, we observed that marginal farmer generated most of the crop residue. They are generated 12,860 kgs per hectare. And the burned crop residue, so maximum amount of crop residue they are burned by the large farmers. So they are burned by 57.6% of their total generated crop residue in rural Bengal. So that is the emissions of greenhouse gases from the per hectare open field burning in the crop residue. From the results, from the estimated results, we observed that large farmer release the most of the amount of the greenhouse gases. They have released 7,760 kgs per hectare of the agricultural land. So that is the estimated amount of West Bengal. If one farmer release the 7,760 kgs of greenhouse gases, so how total farmer release the how much amount of greenhouse gases we have estimated on the basis of secondary data also. So that is the estimated results of the Mann-Kendall test. We have also validated the primary research by the secondary database. From the secondary data, we observe that post-monsoon period, most of the coefficient of different types of air pollutant increases in post-monsoon months compared to other months. So that is October to December. We know very well October and December, most of the farmers burn their crop residue in an open field. So we have also considered the profitability of the different types of the farmer. From this research, we observed that here the farmer divided by the two categories. One is burner farmer and one is non-burner farmer. From our research, we observed that non-burner farmer is more profitable compared to burner farmers. So 42,800 is the net profit of the non-burner farmer, whereas the burner farmer is only 26,000. From our estimated results, here we observe which factor is more responsible for crop residue burning. From our estimated results, we observe that the unavailability of the labor, source of the labor, and so that is the high cost of the labor, and is the most responsible factor for crop residue burning in an open field. So that is a conclusion and policy prescription. Large farmers are more responsible for polluting the air quality and climate conditions at the state, and farmer resource stubble burning due to the unavailability of the labor, high input cost and rising the cost labor. Many farmers are unaware of the harmful effects of residue burning due to lack of education, and if the government will take some policies like informing farmers about the drawbacks of stubble burning through the panchayat system, radio, television, and then will be reduce the future, and formulates a strict law against this policy, and NGOs come forward along with the local government to undertake awareness program against the stubble burning. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much for your presentation. The next presentation, yes.
Any question?
Maybe after the end of the presentation.
So, good evening, respected chairpersons, all the scientists, faculties, delegates, and the participants present here. This is Origin Garnaik, and I am here to present our research topic, that is on impact of climate change on contract boiler farming and the livelihood of the boiler farmers in Angul district. So, climate change is a reality now. So climate change is playing different major roles in 3 fields. Those fields are, the first one is in crop production. The climate change affecting the crop production by rising the temperature and by irregular rainfall and prolonged drought. And it also affecting the broiler farming by reducing the food intake capacity of the broiler birds and the quality of the egg and production of the egg reducing, and by rising the mortality rate of the birds. And why I am taking this, I am taking this broiler contract farming. As we know, contract farming is nowadays taking a lot of popularized because the risks divert to the contract company, and the farmers have to take less amount of risks. So why Ongul districts? As Ongul district is leading a lot of in broiler farming, and as we all know, Ongul is a land of mine. Most of the companies like Jindal and Bhusans are coming to the Ongul districts, and they are taking the cultivated land from the farmers by giving a lot of amount, and the farmers have left no choice rather than to doing for livestock and poultry production. And the main factor is companies like Salimar, Pasupati, Sahu Broilers and branches of Suguna are establishing in Ongul, and they are giving contract to the broiler farmers to go for contract farming. Now coming to the part of objectives, to know the socio-economic and livelihood profiles of the broiler farmers, and to know the impact of climate change on the contract broiler farming. So coming to the part of methodology, the sampling technique we have taken is purposive sampling technique, and the sample size is taken 90 broiler farmers. And the statistical tools we have taken is percentage, frequency, mean score and coefficient correlation. So this is the sample design. So 90 respondents have been taken with purposive sampling method, and we have taken the research area as Ongul district, and we have taken 3 blocks, Chendipada, Ongul and Borpal, purposively by visualizing the secondary data from Ongul districts, and again from each block we have taken 3 GPs to go for our studies, and from each GP we have taken 10 respondents, from each GP 8 contract and 2 non-contract broiler farmers. And now coming to the result and discussion parts, so you can see the socio-economic profile of the broiler farmers. Here you can see in the part of education that nearly 52% of the farmers are illiterate, and they are going for broiler contract farming. And coming to the annual income part, we can see that 1.5 to 2 lakhs of annual income having 63% of broiler farmers. And coming to the part of experience in broiler farming, we can see that nearly 74% of the broiler farmers has less than 5 years of experience. And coming to the register with grassroots organization, we can see that 79% of the farmers has registered in different marketing companies, and community groups, 21% of farmers are registered. And now coming to the method of farming, we know it is a contract broiler farming. They have to register in the contract, and they have to farming the broilers according to their methods. So 79% of the farmers are doing scientifically, and rest 21% traditionally. So mode of funds. So 97 of the farmers are taking borrow funds from different areas, and 3% from own fund. And now coming to the source of fund, we can see that 59 of the farmers are borrowing funds from their relatives and friends, and 27% from public bank and 14% from private bank. Now coming to the idea of what the 82% of the farmers are knowing about this broiler contract farming from word of mouth, and rest from radio and TV. Now coming to this result part, that is effects of climate change on contract and non-contract broiler farming. So we can see that nearly 100% of the farmers are given the suggestions that reducing income and profitability, higher mortality and morbidity rate, and loss of body weight. So all the respondents have given their opinion about this thing. The climate change is affecting these 3 things mostly. Then 68.4% of the farmers has given that heat stress is affecting their broiler farming. 88% also claimed that the reducing meat production is due to climate change, and 81% has said that increase in appetite of the birds, like that. And in table 2, we can see that the adoption strategies taken by the broiler farmers to mitigate the effects of climate change. Here we can see that 86.66% of the farmers have gone for proper housing system. They have put different asbestos, proper ventilation system and drainage system to mitigate different disease for the birds. And 81.11% of farmers have gone for proper feeding formulation. They added nutritious food and vitamins. 80% of the farmers go for right stocking density, that is given by NCC, that is National Chicken Council. They have given that for each square meter we can grow 32 to 44 kgs of chicken, and 84.44% of the farmers are going for adequate water and feed supply. 33.33, that is the least amount of farmers are going for early stage sending of maturity birds, as they don't have rights. And this is the constant part, practicing broiler contract farming and non-contract farming. So here we have ranked those problems in 3 different groups, and that is mostly we found the mean score that production of chicks has the most facing high level of constraint. And this is the last part, and relation between independent variable and dependent variable. Independent variable are like these socioeconomic variables, and dependent is impact of climate change. So here we can see that the highly significant variables, we have seen that register with village organization and method of farming. As they are going broiler contract farming, they have to join with different companies and organizations. And we can see here the most less highly significant but positive is education, as most of the illiterate farmers are going for broiler farming. So this is coming for the conclusion part. So climate variable affect the broiler farming severely, and recommendations are go for climate smart broiler production to mitigate the adverse effect of climate change. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your presentation.
Respected Chairperson, dear panel members, audience in the dais, audience in the floor. A very good evening to all of you. I am Dr. Berhampur, working as an assistant professor of political science at Rajendra University, Palangir. My topic of the presentation today, that how the global south, the global north and south divide is impacting India's climate strategy. I'm discussing in the IR perspective, international relations perspective. And so when we are actually discussing about the climate change, we see that there is a huge gap between the north and the global north and the global south. Global north, which actually indicating or representing the advanced economies, which actually has contributed hugely to the global emission level and the climate change. Throughout the history, you can see that from the Industrial Revolution until now, the country has been producing so much emissions and so much carbon to the environment that their contribution is actually huge. We are looking at the data that US is contributing today around 17.6% of the total carbon emission in the world, followed by Canada and Australia. Whereas the other end, the climate change is actually impacting the global south rather than the global north. The global north in the sense developed countries has already have the economic strength. They have already created a kind of infrastructure to mitigate this impact of the global change. So these countries are actually least affected as compared to the global south. Global south means the countries who are actually developed countries. So in this context, that when these actually, now there is a debate that who is actually responsible for these carbon emission. Now the share of the global south in the sense the developing countries has rising, because now they are actually started picking the day in the industrialization process, in the what you could say that the economic activity has picked up, and so as the climate contributions. So now this actually there's a blame game between the global north versus global south, developing versus developed countries, that who is actually going to be blamed. Now ultimately, since this today's international politics are still dominated by international, I mean the global north, the western countries, they always blame the southern, I mean global south or developing countries for the masses or which has been created. And they are asking for compensation in the sense that all the global south, they had to reduce their emission today. This is a very big tussle, and in this context, when there is a kind of divide between global north and global south, developed versus developing, what India can do, because India is actually, we will see that it is also one of the leading emitter in the global carbon footprints, but at the same time, if we are calculating in per capita income, per capita contribution, it is actually very less. India, in the global percentage kind of, we are contributing 6% of global carbon emission. But in comes to these things, it is, I mean, per capita, it is very smaller, very, very small. So in this context, when there is a kind of tussle, what India can do? I mean, what I'm trying to say, and there is also a political angle to that. So now, if the countries are compromising, for example, the developing countries are compromising their stand, then they will lose their economic strength. That is going to impact the politics and obviously the nation building process. So they are not going to compromise on that. I mean, because the developed country has already reached that advanced level. Yeah, sure. So in this context, what India is actually is partnering the like-minded countries like China and other countries, and we try to resist the pressure from the Western countries and at the same time, what Prime Minister Modi is now doing, that they are trying to create a kind of alternative solution, which is the green energy. We have established an International Solar Alliance headquartered in Gurgaon, Delhi, and we are also creating a kind of biofuel alliance and so on and so forth. So we have actually taken some steps, but what I'm trying to say that the global developing countries, South, should not actually compromise their sovereignty rights and should not compromise on the things. Anyway, thank you so much for giving me an opportunity. Thank you so much.
We can always have an informal discussion outside. Now I would like to request Professor Sudhakar Patra, Department of Economics. Sir, please come for do the felicitation. Student volunteers, please help.
No time for the discussion.
To begin with, Chair Professor Kokila Konasinghe, Faculty of Law, Colombo University, Sri Lanka. Sorry, I'm so sorry. So sorry. Professor R. Lalita S. Fernando, Department of Public Administration, University of Sri Jayawardhanepura, Sri Lanka. Invited speakers, Professor R.N. Bhattacharya, Burdwan University. Professor Maniklal Adhikari, Burdwan University. Mr. Subhendu Kumar Dalai, NMDC Steel Limited, Nagarnagar, Chhattisgarh. Now I would like to request our next rapporteur, Dr. Pavitra Singh sir, to come over and start the next technical session. And before, I would like to give a vote of thanks, formal vote of thanks to all the chair and invited speakers and all the participants and all the audience present over for their patience hearing. Thank you all. Now we'll break for a tea break for 15 minutes and we can take 5 minutes and start with the next technical session. 5 minutes. Yes.
Good afternoon to all of you. So welcome to, all to the technical session for. Oh, ঠিক আছে. Also.
We'll break for tea for 5 minutes.
So I am announcing the paper presenters, the name of paper presenters. Please, they give their slides to our volunteers. So I announcing their names: Pradeep Kumar Panda, Ritesh Kumar Pradhan, Pramod Kumar Panda, Garima Maheshwari, Akshay Kumar Sahu, Pragya Pandey, Neeraj Preet, and Amit Singh. So I request all the paper presenters, please give their slides to our volunteers for the session: accountability, transparency, law for climate justice and equity.
I request all to have your tea outside and come back soon, within 5 minutes. The presenters in the session should submit their presentation to the technical person.
No, no, madam. We just take 5 minutes. Then we start.
Volunteers who were in charge for changing the nameplates should report immediately. Volunteers. Those who are in charge for changing the nameplates should report immediately. Volunteers who were in charge for changing the nameplates, please report immediately. The session is going to start. I request everyone to be seated. The session is going to start. I request the volunteers to help the participants inside the hall. Thank you.
Good afternoon to all of you. So we are going to start the technical session 3 on accountability, transparency, law for climate justice and equity. For this session, we have with us Professor Kokida Konasinghe, Faculty of Law, Colombo University, Sri Lanka. And also we have invited speaker for this session, Professor Min Bahadur Chetri, Nepal Center for Disaster Management. And we have with us the speaker, Dr. Madhusudan Mishra, Jagadguru Kripal University, Bhubaneswar, Odisha. And we have also the invited speaker, Professor Colonel Dr. J. Satpathy, Management University of Africa, Nairobi, Kenya. So, esteemed chair, invited speakers, participants, delegate, I welcome you all to this technical session on accountability, transparency, law for climate justice and equity. So I invite all the chair and all the invited speakers, so please occupy your seat. I'm briefly reading this some biodata, madam. It's okay? I will introduce the guest. So I briefly introduce the guest on the dais. So we have the chair, Professor Kokida Konsinghe is a professor in law and head of the Department of Public and International Law at Faculty of Law, University of Colombo, Sri Lanka. She is the founding director of Center for Environment, Law and Policy. She is a member of the Commonwealth Future Climate Research Cohort 2021-22 of the Association of Commonwealth University and has presented Sri Lanka official delegation at the United Nations Climate Change COP27 in Egypt. Professor Konasinghe involved in 2 SAARC regional level projects representing Sri Lanka, the United Nations Millennium Fellowship Program for producing the South Asian report on climate change and preparing the country report on international disaster management law and policies under a collaborative project with other SAARC countries and International Red Cross and Red Crescent Society. She is currently heading the research team that drafted the new National Environmental Act in Sri Lanka and a member of drafting committee of upcoming Climate Change Act Sri Lanka and the drafting committee of National Policy on Living Entities in Sri Lanka. So next speaker we have Min Bahadur Chetri is a former government employee having experiences more than 34 years serving across various government and allied bodies. He holds a PhD degree from University of Vienna, Austria in economics and postdoctoral doctorate in disaster management policy from Queensland University of Technology, Brisbane, Australia. He is a founding member and past president of Nepal Center for Disaster Management. He is the chairman of the International Emergency Management Society Papers Review Committee. Dr. Chetri is the adjunct professor at the Queensland University of Technology, Brisbane, Australia. He was appointed as Endeavour Ambassador from the Australia High Commission, New Delhi, in February 2018. He He was also faculty at the Department of Conflict, Peace and Developmental Studies, Tribhuvan University, Nepal, and Institute of Crisis Management Studies, Tribhuvan University affiliated master degree program in crisis management. We have next speaker with us, Dr. Madhusudan Mishra. He is a registrar in Jagadguru Kripalu University, Bhubaneswar, Odisha. And he will discuss on pathway to resilience and equity amidst climate change. Our next speaker, Professor Colonel Professor Jyotirmoy Satpathy, is a veteran army faculty having served for 29 years and joined as the academic world after post-voluntary retirement. He had his formal education under various universities in India and held double masters, double MPhil, triple PhD, and 6 DLID in various fields of economics, management, and psychology. He is currently a professor at Management University of Africa, Nairobi. He has delivered about 225 invited lectures in India and abroad. He is a Limca Record awardee in academics, concentrate singularly on neuro decision dynamics. So with this, I hand it over to the chair to take over the further proceeding, madam.
Ayubowan, may you live long in good health. Right, so now I think we are having the last session, which means all of us are very exhausted, understood, but we have to go on the battle until we see the light at the end of the tunnel. So let's march forward. Now, I've been listening to different talks in this conference since morning, and now I'm chairing this last session. I thought I will limit my discussion into 5 minutes with very precise points that I observe in this conference. Now, environment, protection of environment, swimming against the tide of climate change, may be the biggest challenge that the mankind is facing today. So first of all, we must understand the nature of the environmental problems. Now look at this particular pot. Have you seen this pot? And do you see it entirely, completely? I would say no. Why? Because there's another side. So I turn this. A very generous speaker who was here before has just put this rose in the soil thinking that it will have roots. I think what we are doing today against the climate change is something like this. We are planting seeds of hope. Hope that we will survive as human beings. Whether it will be fruitful or not, let the future decide. But we should not give up hope. We should keep having this hope. So I will keep this plant back in the place. And also, there are different dimensions to environmental problems, which we should address by discipline dimensions, perspectives. That is where we fail. Now, since morning, I've been listening to journalists and policymakers, lawyers, politicians, politics, and all sorts of different dimensions, which I think very, very enriching discussion when it comes to climate change, environmental protection. So I'm very proud to have this panel with me at the plenary. Professor Meena Chetri is from Nepal, and he's an expert in policies. And we have Madhusudan Mishra, doctor, from Bhubaneswar, and he's an expert in political science and international politics. And we have Colonel Dr. Satpathy, who is from Kenya, and he's an expert in neuromanagement. And I am from